Guys, we are literally just waiting on this Superstonk interview with Lucy Komisar to start. So now I got the software back on so you guys can see my screen. I'll make sure I do this in the future. I'm going to try and find a technology that is like this, that is free. If not, then I'll just pay for this one. But yeah. So we're just waiting for this to go live. Waiting for people to come back in. Let me make sure that we're actually live. This is using that other software. People to come back in. So we are live. Okay. All right, so we're just waiting for this to start. And it should be starting here any minute. Make sure you go to their actual page too and like the stream. So we're just waiting. There's a bunch of people waiting. 2,704 people waiting. Is there anybody here on my stream? All right. Did any of you guys watch the last AMA with Lucy Komisar? Because it was actually really rather interesting. She's an investigative journalist who works on a lot of the big top stories. We are just literally waiting for this. It says, welcome to the part 2 segment of the official r/Superstonk Live AMA with Lucy Komisar, award-winning investigative journalist. Join us as user Pink Cats on Acid, aka Pink, hosts a one-on-one discussion as a follow-up to Lucy's last week appearance, an insightful discussion. More about our guest. Lucy Komisar's beat is the secret underbelly of the global financial system, offshore bank and corporate secrecy, and its links to corporate crime, tax evasion by the corporations and the very rich, empowerment of dictators and oligarchs, bribery and corruption. Drug and arms trafficking and terrorism. Her dozens of articles on the subject since 1997 have appeared in publications as diverse as the Nation magazine and the Wall Street Journal. She is also a theater critic and member of the Drama Desk, the organization of New York theater critics, writers, and editors. Her particular interest is in the political aspects of theater. And she does have her own blog. So yeah. Hello guys. What's up, Lewis? Hi, Retha. Glad you guys can all make it. I'm super excited for this. I do want to make sure that you guys can actually hear stuff. So let me click on something else to see if you guys can hear it. Can you guys hear this? Can y'all hear this? Can y'all hear? Just want to throw this on real quick just to see if you guys could hear. I hope you guys can. Someone let me know in the comments if you guys can hear. Now I got to get back so I can get back to the one we're trying to watch. If you're not subscribed to the Superstonk channel, I definitely recommend you subscribe there as well and turn on the notifications so you know exactly when these interviews are happening. However, I do plan on covering each and every one every time because they're absolutely fantastic and absolutely important to watch. Crap. Now I can't find out where I was. I can't figure out how to get back there. There we go. Oh, that's me. I don't want to go on me. Oh, oh no. You know what we need at this point is that oh no sound. Shit. Oh, there we go. Oh. Okay. So it should be starting any second. I don't know why it's taking so long. So we just got to wait for it to start, basically. No, very low, but yes. Oh, shit. Okay, well, then maybe I will play the audio on my phone. Okay. So maybe I can play the audio on my phone. Can you guys... let me see. I'm going to put something on my phone to see if you guys can hear it.
There. Now, there were hundreds of crimes detailed in the El Jindy screenshots. Information about journalists, information about important traders.
If you can hear my phone.
No indication the Justice Department went after any of the 400 making shorting miscreants on this website. Or sorry to interrupt, Lindsay. So what you're telling?
So did y'all hear? Can you hear my phone? Because if you can, I'll just use my phone audio and have it playing on both so that I make sure y'all can hear it and don't miss it. Because I don't want, you to miss anything, because it's always really important. I think so. The last Lucy Komisar interview I found interesting. A lot of people said that the interviewer was cringe. I just felt like the people were kind of disrespectful. You good? I can hear. Okay, perfect. So I'll just do the audio on my phone and on there then, I guess, so that you guys can hear, because I want to make sure you guys can hear it. There's something wrong with my computer audio, and I don't know how to fix it. But a couple days ago, my audio started getting weird, and I don't know why. I can barely hear it. But, like, the volume's all the way up, so I don't know why. I don't know if I, like, broke something or did something. I don't know. I don't know how I would have broke it, but... Yeah, so basically we're just waiting on, we're just basically waiting on this all to start. Why it doesn't work that well. I wonder if I change the volume or something. Okay, it'll be starting in 5 minutes. It says 5 minutes and 14 seconds. So we're on the countdown there. Does anyone have any questions or anything before we start? I can always go over Lucy Komisar's. Let's Google her. Let's see what it says about her. Okay, so it says Lucy Komisar is a New York City-based investigative journalist and drama critic. Komisar was editor of the Mississippi Free Press in Jackson, Mississippi from 1962 to 1963. The weekly covered the civil rights movement and related political and labor issues and was read mainly by Black people in Mississippi. Let's see what else it says. She is an investigative freelance journalist. Okay, here we go. All right, so that's so funny. Lucy Komisar did a article on GameStop, actually. It says the GameStop mess exposes the naked short selling scam. And that was on February 25th, 2021. So she might be one of the only journalists that wrote a actual factual article. Because I keep seeing a bunch of fake news. So that's great. Let me go back to here so I can see comments. Okay. Can you look up the AMC inflow orders and then outflow orders? Yes. Is that like the tick by tick thing? Is that what you want to see, Paul? AMC inflow Orders and outflow. Hold on. Let me go over here real quick. Screen real quick. All right, hold on. We are going to hide. Can you hear me now? What did I do? Can you guys hear me now? Oh no. What the heck did I do? Oh crap. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Yes. Okay, great. I didn't know that if I turned my face off, you couldn't hear me. I was hoping that you could do both. That's okay. Now we know. Thanks, Paul and Trex. All the shit. Where'd my phone go? Because I wanted to keep that audio available. All right, now it's saying it's going to start at 4:45, but it's 4:46. Where are they? All right. So, Paul, were you looking? You wanted to see like level 2 data, right? Because I have level 2 data for free on Fidelity. I can show it to you. But when you switch screen, your sound disappears. Okay. So I just won't switch screens. I'll just leave mine up here, and then just whenever I'm trying to show this, I'll just put it up there somehow or something, or remove one of the other ones. Yeah, thanks for letting me know, because I had no idea. I was sitting here talking too. I don't even remember what I said. I felt like it was important. It was something for both of y'all, and I don't remember now. Yeah. Oh. What I do like about this little thing, that like this layout thing, is I could put like people's comments on the screen, which is cool. Yeah, it's like a diagram on the green. It's like a circle diagram on the green on the left side and the red dot on the right side are orange. What? Huh? Yeah, it's like a circle diagram, and the green one on the left side and red on the right side or orange. Oh, you're talking about the, I know what you're saying now. You're talking about the AMC outflow thing. I'm like, what are you talking about? Okay, hold on. Let me go find it. AMC. I can pull it up definitely on my phone. I just looked at it a little bit ago. Fidelity. Balance. My stupid, did I tell y'all I dropped my phone in the toilet last night and I totally messed it up? I have to wait for Apple to send me a replacement phone. So my Face ID or nothing works, and I had to sit here all day today and figure out my passwords to everything because I don't know them. All right, so AMC is who we're looking for. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. How do I turn this shit off? All right. Can you see my screen? Oh. Hold on. All right. I was looking at Fidelity on the AMC thing, but I don't remember where the hell I seen it now. I know what you're talking about because I just looked at it earlier and I don't know where the hell I seen it now. There's too many places on freaking Fidelity like to look at stuff that it's hard to remember where the heck I found it at. Hold on, I'm still looking. I was just looking at it not that long ago. But this is interesting. Hold on. Let me show you this real quick. Let me hide this so you can see this. Can you see this? All right. These are like the key statistics for AMC. If you're looking for like, I guess like the actual fundamentals of the stock. I know that you're looking for inflow, outflow. I just can't remember where I seen it at. Oh, I'm not signed in. Maybe that's why I can't see it. All right, hold on. Let me get this back off. Oh my God, they keep changing the time of the interview. Now they're saying it's 5 p.m. So in 8 minutes. Hold on. Let me take that off real quick. Show this. We'll move this. There we go. And then let me sign into Fidelity real quick. Oh, you know what? I think maybe I've seen it on Weeble is where I've seen it. Weeble. Maybe that's why I couldn't find it. Can y'all still see my screen? Or do you only see that other thing now? Oh, yeah. Hold on. Oh, oops. I'm going to make this Weeble. Hold on. Maybe I should make sure it doesn't show like account information first. Hold on. One sec, guys. Sorry. Just don't want to click on this and it show like a bunch of shit. Open, high volume. Oh, maybe it wasn't Weeble where I seen it. I don't remember where I seen it at. I don't know, Paul. Look on Market Watch. AMC. All right. AMC. Aha. Hold on. I don't know. I can't find it. I'm going to find it as soon as I get off this live. I guarantee it. That's what always happens to me. Can't find it. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Paul. Weeble is awesome. That's why I look at stocks. I love the charts on Weeble. I think the charts on Weeble are amazing. They have a lot of cool tools too. But when you switch screens, oh, oops. Right, waiting on Asia. Yeah, it's like a circle, blah, 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 blah. My bad to confuse you, blah, blah, blah. We see Lucy K. It might be on Weeble. Is that what it is? Now I see Weeble is awesome. That's where I look at stocks. I'll get no worries. We all know we won. Facts. He said, we all know we won. That's true. Dude, y'all don't understand how hard it is because, all right, so this to share my screen, I can't use YouTube. I have to use this other software. And right now it's like this Be Live thing. And I don't like it. I hate it. I like the YouTube software, but like the YouTube software doesn't let me share my screen, so I don't have a choice but to use this. Let's do. And then I do like it because I can change like the layout of stuff, so that's pretty cool. But I don't like that little circle thingy in the top. That's like the Be Live symbol. I feel like they're just trying to advertise or whatever, but that's okay. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. It says it's going to be live in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. I'm hoping that this stream and my audio on my phone sync up together. I feel like if I'm watching them at the same exact time, then hopefully they will, but I don't know. I also apparently need to go get my computer fixed because I don't know why the hell my audio is messed up. Like, I didn't drop my computer or anything, so I don't know what's wrong with it. But it's definitely messed up because I could barely hear it. You can watch your own live on your phone to see how the layout is. That's a good idea. Actually. I don't want to hear myself. That's my problem. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, that's weird because the layout on here looks different than it looks on my computer. It doesn't look horrible. I look absolutely horrible on YouTube. I also didn't do anything with my life today because I'm tired and I need to get my hair done and stuff, but I feel like it. Instead of getting my hair done, I'm putting all my money in Gamestop and AMC. So I'm hearing some people in Silicon Valley is manipulating the market as well. I think people everywhere are manipulating the market. If they have enough money to manipulate the market and they can keep getting away with it, they're going to continue to manipulate the market. There's no reason for them not to. None at all. They're going to continue it. Okay, now let me go to Superstonk because I think it's about to be ready. Oh, it is. Here we go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we are live.
AMA. Today we have part 2 with investigative journalist Komisar. So I'm your host, Kate.
Sorry, guys. The fucking audio is different.
For joining us today. Thank you. It's my pleasure. And well, we had a lot of technical difficulties. We did, but we're rocking and rolling now. Yeah. So today we're talking about the SEC, and you touched on some of the history of it. You touched on it in your last AMA, but I want you to go ahead and just get right into it for the sake of time, and give us a little bit of history of the SEC. So this is a story of the corrupt SEC. After the stock market crash in 1929, there was a meme that was heard. He who sells what isn't his'n must buy it back or go to prison. And this was a very important matter for the time because many people believe that this was the first example of naked short selling. It was called watering the stock because what people did was they made stock certificates because instead of digital at that time,
sorry, the words don't
shares
line up,
were
guys.
in stock certificates, and they made counterfeit stock certificates and sold them, and it was called watering the stock. Remember that? Watering the stock. And therefore, that is believed to have promoted the market collapse, the stock market collapse in 1929, and that started. Many people believe that started the Depression. And so what did the U.S. government do? Well, Ferdinand Pecora was an immigrant working class kid from Sicily who put himself through New York Law School. He was hired in 1932 by the Senate Banking Committee to investigate the causes of the crash. To do a whitewash, of course, based on what those congressmen wanted, but he didn't get the memo. His hearings exposed such practices as pools to support bank stock prices, such as let's all coordinate trades to pump up the stock. Does that sound familiar? Like in GameStop, National City Bank, now Citibank, had hidden bad loans by packaging them into securities and selling them off to unwary investors. Does that sound familiar? Remember mortgage-backed securities that tanked and that the sellers knew were going to tank? That was what he was looking into. The findings of the Pecora Commission exposing the corruption of the financial system industry led to public support for regulation. It took really dirty stuff to move the public, which would be the regulations that came out, the Glass-Steagall Act of 1933. That separated investment banking from retail banking, banning bankers from using depositors' money for their own high-risk investments. The Securities Act of 1933 and the Securities Exchange Act of 1934, which set up the Securities and Exchange commission, the SEC. So Pecora wrote a wonderful memoir, Wall Street Under Oath. He said, bitterly hostile was Wall Street to the enactment of the regulatory legislation. What? The thieves don't want rule of law. About disclosure rules, he said that had there been full disclosure of what was being done in furtherance of these schemes, they could not long have survived the fierce light of publicity and criticism. Legal chicanery and pitch darkness were the bankers' stoutest allies. Think about who are the bankers' stoutest allies today. Franklin Roosevelt appointed Joseph Kennedy, father of Jack and Robert, to be SEC chair. He had built the family fortune on stock manipulation, financial manipulation, but Roosevelt thought he knew where the bodies were buried. He knew who the miscreants were. And so for about 5 years, the SEC cleaned up the Wall Street Augean stables for about 5 years. Then Kennedy's buddies of the financial oligarchy took charge again in early regulatory capture. Let's move fast forward about 50 years, half century, to 1985. With the support of friends in Congress, Wall Street had neutered the Securities Acts by assuring that the SEC would not enforce them. But the corruption was sometimes a little inconvenient, too much in your face. So in 1985, the National Association of Securities Dealers, now FINRA, which represents the brokers, hired Irving Pollock, a former SEC commissioner, who was honest, to look at short selling. Among his proposals, reporting of short interest, that is the amount of sales assured but not yet covered. He said they should be public and perhaps reported more frequently. A borrow for delivery in broker-dealer transactions should be required. A mandatory buy-in should be adopted for delivery after a reasonable period when there has been a fail.
What'd you do with that $10?
That means the broker for the buyer who hasn't gotten the shares would buy them on the market and charge the broker for the seller, the buy-in. There should be, he said, surveillance of large short interest positions, shorts which are shorts not yet covered. Did the SEC adopt these proposals with great enthusiasm? Obviously not. Short interest is not reported frequently. The broker-dealers locate instead of borrow, and we know they don't really locate, or they use counterfeit shares. Buy-ins were allowed but not required. And Leslie Bonney, an academic, in 2004, did a paper for the SEC on buy-ins, and she said they were rare. But requiring buy-ins would make the stock go up. Short sellers would lose money. That was not on SEC agenda. And there was no surveillance of large short interest positions. In fact, corruption would be increased thanks to the friends of Wall Street, President Bill Clinton, and his collaborator, the Treasury Secretary Robert Rubin, who had come from Goldman and would be rewarded by a multi-million-dollar position as an advisor to Citibank. They, in 1999, killed the Glass-Steagall Act, which had separated investment banking from retail banking. Retail banks, till then, could not use depositors' funds for risky investments. People had lost everything when the banks collapsed in 1929, and only 10% of their income could come from selling securities. That was done away with. So the crooked banks and broker-dealers had nobody stopping them. That set the stage for the last very corrupt decades. The SEC was battered with complaints again. So in July 2000,
what does it take?
Sorry, guys.
One of the most successful CEOs in history. You're about to.
selling. The hedge funds and big brokers who had been or would be shown to be illegally shorting all lobbied against it. And the end result was a very tepid reform of short selling that was a Swiss cheese of loopholes. Think of Al Capone writing the tax laws. On the other hand, his crooked progeny do write the tax laws. Reg Show would be implemented in 2005. The SEC knocked out a proposal of penalties for failing to deliver that told the brokers everything they needed to know.
Yeah, they do, Paul. That's
And
why
it
that
wrote
shit's
two
tanking.
giant exceptions into Reg Show: ex-clearing and market makers. The rule didn't apply
There's a
to
lot of
ex-clearing.
older
That
people in
means
Wall Street that
clearing,
don't want the
shares,
digital age
trades
to happen. They keep
outside
fighting
the
it.
DTCC, the Depository Trust Clearing Corporation, which is a national stock clearing
Okay.
company. Yes, it's a private company and it's owned by the big broker dealers. It applied only to trades going through a registered clearing agency, i.e., what got sent through the DTCC. And because the SEC said ex-clearing was rare, why worry about that? Sales that avoided clearing agencies could fail, not be delivered without the buyers, brokers reporting the fails to the DTCC or buying in, requiring the short sellers, brokers to buy the shares on the market. So this was a get out of jail free card. And it was to protect short sellers and help them avoid Reg Show. The dealers just went
Y'all hear
ex-clearing.
that?
They either
To help
cleared
short
internally.
sellers.
If you're a huge Goldman or Morgan Stanley, you've got enough customers inside the bank to clear trades, or with a cooperating broker-dealer, or they went through dark pools. Dark pools were the private exchanges set up by the
And that's
big
what makes
prime
me nervous
brokers and
about
banks.
Citadel buying
Al
up
Capone could never have done
BlackRock.
something so sophisticated. The major perpetrators, the perps, are the large banks doing it for large clients, hedge funds, or for their own accounts. If they can do the transaction privately, ex-clearing, Reg Show doesn't apply. Guess what percentage of trades now go through dark pools? 40%. It doesn't sound rare to me. If a trade fails ex-clearing, it doesn't fail at the DTCC. Easy to do naked shorting. It never fails. Reg Show also didn't apply to derivatives, the financial casino bets acknowledged as a prime cause of
Derivatives are options
2008
trading.
crisis, and which also did not trade through a clearinghouse. Even stocks that cleared through the DTCC were not always covered. The brokers got a grandfather clause that allowed existing fails to continue. And brokers didn't have to close out the shares. They had sold short before the stock went on the threshold list. That is a list of shares.
My audio
that
is
for 5
faster than
consecutive
the
settlement days
audio on
had
YouTube. My
failed to
bad.
deliver of 10,000 shares or more at a clearing agency, and where the level of fails was equal to at least 0.5% of the issuer's outstanding shares.
Yeah, there's a shit ton of Bitcoins that are just like lost
subject
forever.
To, mandatory
shit ton.
covering only on the 5th day. Then the broker-dealer had 13 days to deliver the shares to the buyer or the lender.
I can't wait
And if
to
it
watch
failed
that.
to do so,
I'm watching it
it
tonight.
could not trade that stock until it did. But the SEC knew because staff wrote a paper on it, how options conversions allowed the broker-dealers to put off fail dates forever.
See?
It was all a charade.
This is what I was talking about earlier.
Shares, they used them for borrowing, for covering. They were fake. It was all a charade. The other exception was for market makers who
Citadel is a market maker.
Stocks so people can always buy and sell them. Reg Show allowed an options market maker exception. It was called after the person who designed and pushed for it, the Madoff exception. Did I say the crooks wrote the rules? In prison in 2012, Madoff told Forbes journalist Diana Enriquez, "I fell into my crime of staying naked short. The fact that the prosecutor and trustee seem clueless of this is why my frustration is so great." Clueless or complicit, you just don't go there. As if that wasn't enough, the SEC in 2007 eliminated the uptick rule. That required short sales to be conducted at a higher price than the previous trade. Not helpful if the purpose is to batter down the stock price. It was never really enforced anyway, but just gives you a clue of how they thought they could get away with anything. They're going backwards. Then we have stock lending, which is taking care of the banks. According to the SEC Office of Economic Analysis in 2008, Reg Show, which had been in effect for 3 years, had not reduced outstanding fails. Many stocks remained on the Reg Show threshold list for hundreds of trading days.
Got it to line up now.
Remember the rules about 5 and 13? That wasn't a bug, it was a feature. For years, the SEC claimed naked short selling and fails to deliver were not a problem. Once things began to go sour in 2008, remember the crashes, and big banks were targeted, Bear Stearns, Lehman, the first thing the SEC did was ban naked short selling in 17 financial stocks, plus the mortgage lending agencies, Fannie and Freddie. It was ironic since the big banks, brokers, had been
I love seeing
carrying
familiar
out the scam
faces
on others, but they were hoist on their own petard, you might say. And they chose the solution that people battling naked short selling had advocated for years. A July 2008 order said no traders could make trades involving those institutions, the 17.
exactly. That's the problem. That shouldn't be allowed.
Or otherwise had it available in their inventory. They had to deliver the security on the settlement date. Borrow shares before you sell them. Before you sell them short, stop the counterfeiting. All the regs that came out were because naked shorting, the counterfeiting of shares, was undermining the banks. The SEC went from nothing is happening till the fall of 2008 that the market is coming apart because of naked shorting. There were some slight improvements made in 2008 on paper for everybody, but on paper. The market makers exemption was eliminated because the SEC said substantial levels of fails had continued in threshold securities, and a significant number were the result of market maker exceptions. But they still had 6 days to settle. And so you have market makers failing and rolling over their shares every 5.5 days.
Exactly.
Just rolling it over to some other broker-dealer or bank. Easy to do. Everybody's in on this deal. The grandfather provision on threshold securities was eliminated. Unless its position in threshold securities was closed, a broker-dealer couldn't effect further shorts in them without borrowing or arranging to borrow the securities. Don't worry, they finessed that, moving the trades between broker-dealers using fake options conversions that they had perfected. They had many ways to get around these rules. Now, the amendments addressed fake borrows. It said where a broker-dealer entered into an arrangement with another party to purchase or borrow securities, and the broker-dealer knew or had reason to know that the other party would not deliver in the settlement of the trade, the purchase or borrow would not be bona fide. But, and it repeated that the NSCC, the National Securities Clearing Corporation, which is a DTCC subsidiary, clears and settles the majority of equity securities trades conducted on the exchanges and in the over-the-counter market. Well, they don't mention the rules still don't apply to X-clearing and the dark pools.
Yep.
The X-clearing route to naked short selling was protected. Fails could be concealed at the start by not reporting them to the NSCC.
Yep.
the clearinghouse. In fact, the dealers could use X-clearing to opt out of fails.
And this is why none of the numbers matter.
The exchanges, they could take them on to their own books and deal with the fails as they chose. And that meant they would do nothing. They would just let the fails sit there, and the SEC would do nothing about it. It allowed this. Protecting the interests of the big banks, brokerages, the SEC did not include a hard borrow, a hard locate requirement in its amendments to the Reg Show. And an interesting backstory here, because they were making amendments. The rule went into effect in 2005. They made amendments in 2008. The backstory involved former Delaware Senator Ted Kaufman, who recently ran Joe Biden's post-election transition team. It shows how the big stock market players and the institutions they control have blocked attempts to deal with naked short selling. Kaufman was Biden's longtime chief of staff, and he was named to the Senate seat vacated by his boss when Biden became Barack Obama's vice president. After the 2008 market meltdown that included abusive naked short selling of Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers, Kaufman, a Democrat, and Georgia Senator Johnny Isaacson, a Republican, introduced legislation that directed the SEC to write regulations to end naked short selling. They determined that the SEC's regulations were unenforceable. Hedge funds could spread rumors, do massive shorts without locating, deliver after the prices dropped, which they had encouraged to drop. In July of 2009, Kaufman and 6 colleagues from both parties wrote the SEC proposing a hard locate that would ban all short sales unless the executing broker first obtained a unique identification number for the shares that were being borrowed, perhaps through an automated centralized system.
That's why we should put it on the blockchain.
Multiple short sales on the basis of a single share. Yeah, we located that share, and so did the other one, and so did the other guy, and so did our partner over at Goldman, the same share. According to Jeff Connaughton, who was then Kaufman's chief of staff, months before the letter, the DTCC, the clearing agency, had gone to the SEC with a proposed solution to naked short selling that looked like Kaufman's. Looked like that solution, with the DTCC creating a centralized database that would prevent the same shares from being used for multiple trades, multiple short sales. They were concerned because their stock borrow program was not getting much in the way of paying clients.
They've always been taking us over. People just didn't realize it.
Later, we got pulled back. They meant, Connaughton said, by their board, by the Wall Street powers that
now everyone's questioning everything. Now they're all terrified.
Because in the case of the DTCC,
everyone else just followed by blind faith.
Wall Street controls the regulators. Kaufman continued to try to fight naked short selling in the Dodd-Frank debate. The SEC was ordered by the Dodd-Frank law of 2010 to require more transparency in short selling and stock lending. 11 years later, it still ignores that order. And nobody from Congress has reminded them about that. Even the recent hearings have not reminded them about that. But the SEC occasionally takes enforcement actions that go after low-hanging fruit. That is, they don't bother anyone significant. They don't order more than minor penalties, cost of doing business. So, here's a couple of cases. In 2003, the Sedona Badian story. The Sedona case where the Badian brothers from Vienna ran a death spiral financing scheme that involved providing a loan that would be repaid in shares. But then they did a massive shorting attack that knocked down the price of the shares. So went from $6 to 20 cents. The SEC filed a complaint
Spot on.
against Thomas Badian and his company Rhino for fraud and market manipulation of Sedona
Not
shares.
just
Badian and Rhino
that the market would crash and burn, but it would create a world war.
For a $1 million fine without admitting or denying guilt. The $1 million was a pittance. The cost of doing business of the company was destroyed. And the irony, in 2006, the SEC filed a civil suit against Andreas Badian, 4 officials of Pawn Equities, and a trader at Refco, all involved directly in the naked shorting, but not against Lautenberg Thalmann, the very high-profile broker-dealer, owned by billionaire investor Carl Icahn and a partner that facilitated the whole deal and many other death spiral financing deals. Another story, in 2005, EagleTech. EagleTech had an invention, which was new at the time, to push phone calls to other devices, letting people use a single phone number that would ring, follow them from phone to phone. He came, EagleTech and the inventor, a target of a group of death spiral financing criminals working with Solomon Smith Barney in New York. 5 Solomon officers and a group of investors offering to buy convertible preferred shares from EagleTech for up to $6 million. The loan convertible into shares, as in the Sedona death spiral financing. Then they did a pump and dump. So the stock went up to $14 and then dropped to 75 cents, reducing the market value by about $113 million. The stock finally went to 2 cents. The FBI was investigating some organized crime stock fraudsters. It busted 17 mob members led by the crooks that ran the scheme against EagleTech. The SEC filed suit against John Sarubo, Tonino Labella, and their colleagues, collaborators, their henchmen, who ran the scam that got control of EagleTech stock. It said they generated in excess of $12.7 million from the sale of the stock. And members of the Solomon Smith Barney financing team and their options market makers in Chicago were selling shares and then failing to deliver. But Sarubo, Labella, and the others, mobsters, would be banned from penny stock trading in order to pay back the ill-gotten gains and fines. I couldn't find any notice of any penalties against the Solomon
we did
Smith
that,
Barney
though,
team
we'd be going to
or the
jail.
Chicago
Just saying.
options market maker collaborators. But it's always good to go after the mob. Then,
She brought me a flower.
This part of the story is
What's
the
great
hardest
about
to believe.
kids.
The SEC filed suit
It smells beautiful.
against EagleTech, the victim, to deregister its shares because it couldn't afford several $100,000 to file audited financial reports. The delisting is like a bankruptcy. All the investors are wiped out. The naked shorters never have to cover. The SEC finished what the mob started. It killed the company. Then go to 2007, Goldman. From at least March of 2000 to May 2002, that's more than 2 years, Goldman Clearing used the firm's direct market access automated trading system that allowed them to trade directly in the market to unlawfully sell securities short in advance of follow-on and secondary offerings of new shares they would be able to get cheaper. But what they did was illegal. They did not borrow or locate. They prepared their own sell orders on the direct access terminals that Goldman gave them and falsely marked short sales as long.
Listen to
The
this.
orders were routed directly to the New York Stock Exchange and other markets for execution. Goldman Clearing's own records had information that customers were selling securities short. And they were misrepresenting their short sales
Literally,
as long.
all they have to
Goldman
do
Cleary's record
on their
showed
little
that the
filings
customers
is
were
mark any
repeatedly
short sale
failing
long,
to
and that's
deliver
it.
the securities
That's
that
it.
they were purported to sell long.
AKA hiding short
so
sales.
for more than 2 years of allowing shorts
Short
to
interest
be
status
marked
false.
as longs, Goldman had to pay civil money penalty of, wait for it, $1 million.
That's it. 1 million. Nothing.
The SEC, okay, let's go to another one.
This kind of stuff
Options
angers
Express.
me.
Options Express was a subsidiary of Charles Schwab, repeatedly engaged in sham transactions known as resets, designed to give the appearance of having bought shares to close out an open fail, while in fact not doing so. Options Express had its customers buy shares and simultaneously sell call options
All
that
of
were
them,
the
really.
equivalent of selling shares short. The purchase of shares created the illusion that the firm had covered the short. However, the shares were never actually delivered.
Thank you.
And the buyers because on the same day, the calls were exercised, effectively reselling the shares. So this gets complicated, but it's sort of a wash trade. You do one thing and then you do the opposite and you end up with zero. The purpose was to perpetuate an open short position, but it was a fake. So how did that work? In 2009, 6 Options Express customers bought $5.7 billion worth of securities and sold short about $4 billion of options. They did this to a couple of dozen companies. In January 2010, the customers who did the scam accounted for 48% of the daily volume of trading in Sears stock. In the end, Options Express had to pay $4 million in penalties. Didn't I just say something about billions? It's the cost of doing business. That's all the SEC asked them to do. Now, there are some good people in the SEC, even if the people at the top are very questionable. And here's some interesting insider stories.
Dude, we should totally watch it all together then. Maybe tomorrow. When shit starts getting boring in the market, we'll watch that all together because real shit is definitely an inside job. That's why I'm dying to watch that. It probably can say exactly what I'm trying to say better than me.
Securities Act of 1933. He would walk in Ferdinand.
I'm a better writer than I am speaker.
In September 2004, Aguirre started as a senior counsel at the SEC Division of Enforcement. The SEC in July had just promulgated Reg Show, which it said would stop abusive naked short selling. So Aguirre recalled, the first thing I noticed is there seemed to be a deference to the large law firms who represented Wall Street players. And there were a lot of people there not at the same skill set level as the attorneys representing some of the players from Wall Street. Aguirre certainly wasn't in that group. He's a very, very smart person. Aguirre was assigned to an investigation that implicated a powerful Wall Street insider, John Mack. He had been the head of the hedge fund, Pequot Capital Management. The suspicion was that Mack had tipped the current CEO, Arthur Samberg, of General Electric's pending acquisition of Heller Financial. Mack was the only suspect. Without an investigation, the SEC would never be able to consider filing insider trading charges against Mack or Samberg or Pequot or anyone else arising out of Pequot's trading in GE and Heller. So this was the investigation that Aguirre was assigned to. The SEC did not want that investigation. An SEC official told Aguirre it would be very difficult to take Mack's testimony because of his political influence. He told him that Mack was, quote, an industry captain, that he had powerful contacts, that Mary Jo White could contact a number of powerful individuals, any of whom could call Linda about the examination. Mary Jo White was a lawyer at a Wall Street firm. Linda was Linda Thompson, the head of enforcement. Aguirre confirmed the conversation with this official in 2 emails the next morning. And the first email referenced Ferdinand Pecora. The senior officials in the SEC's Division of Enforcement, run by Linda Thompson, blocked an SEC subpoena seeking Mac's testimony and records for the investigation. Then Aguirre had contacted the Office of Special Counsel to discuss the filing of a complaint about the SEC's protection of Mac. 3 days later, September 1st, 2005, while on vacation, Aguirre was fired by phone.
By phone.
He gave key papers to Charles Grassley on the Senate Finance Committee and to the Senate Judiciary Committee. There were hearings in 2006. He said the SEC, quote, favor to John Mack cleared the way for his return on June 30th, 2005, as Morgan Stanley's CEO, with no danger of an SEC lawsuit for insider trading. Mary Jo White would become chair of the SEC in 2013 to 2017, appointed by Wall Street's favorite guy, Barack Obama, who apparently didn't know the Aguirre story. Later, David Kotz, the SEC Inspector General, said he had found evidence that, quote, raised serious questions about the impartiality and fairness, end quote, of the SEC's investigation of possible insider trading at the Pequot Capital Management hedge fund.
Get a plate for it.
He said also, he condemned what he considered the common practice of giving outside lawyers access to high-level SEC officials when they had complaints about their clients' complaints about front-line investigations.
We're all going to watch this tomorrow, by the way.
Numerous recommendations.
I'm going to watch it tonight, and then we're going to watch it again tomorrow together.
Ignored. Aguirre sued the SEC and won $750,000 in back pay and damages.
Ooh.
Mac, after being CEO of Morgan Stanley, became CEO of Credit Suisse, then chair of Morgan Stanley, and now is senior advisor to the global investment firm Kohlberg Kravis Roberts, whose strategic partners are hedge funds. Here's another story. This was 2005. It's a man named Fickus who worked for the SEC and Overstock, and Chris Cox, who was the chair of the SEC. This is Fickus, an SEC staffer who tried to do the right thing, but was pulled back. In August of 2005, Overstock filed a suit against hedge fund partners, Rocker Partners, and the equities research firm Radian Analytics, saying they illegally colluded in short-selling the company while paying for negative reports to drive down share prices.
Sounds a lot like GameStop to me.
The CEO of Overstock, Patrick Byrne, took his information to Mark Fickus of the SEC San Francisco office. Byrne said, look at the patterns. Their stocks are naked shorted by Dan Loeb, David Einhorn, Stephen Cohn, David Rocker. Those were the big shorters. Look at the dates. Journalists Bethany, Boyd, Raymond Greenberg wrote trash jobs. That was Bethany McLean writing for Forbes, Carol Raymond for Dow Jones, Roddy Boyd for the New York Post, Herb Greenberg for MarketWatch. Byrne said it was the same pattern. Each one of those journalists writes hatchet job. There is naked shorting. The SEC.
A hatchet job is basically like a bad, like a shit report.
And the Milberg
like how we keep seeing crappy articles saying, oh, sell your AMC, oh, sell your GME.
The Milberg lawsuits involve their paying shills to buy stock, then suing the company when the price went down. Several Milberg lawyers went to prison for that. So the SEC would go after the lawyers, but you'll see they don't go after the companies or the brokers. Byrne argued that Gradient, an investment advisor, which he said was putting out fraudulent reports the shorters used, should be investigated, and that the journalists were central to the case. The subpoenas were issued to Carol Remond of Dow Jones and Herb Greenberg of MarketWatch to provide information about conversations they had with stock traders and with analysts. Now, Figes issued the subpoenas with the approval of the SEC's head of enforcement, Linda Thompson. It was announced that the SEC was investigating
The SEC
Gradient and had issued
is basically,
subpoenas
with all these
to,
fines, just taking their
Carol
cut, in
Remond
my opinion.
and
They're
Herb
not doing
Greenberg,
shit.
and also to Jim Cramer
As far
of
as
the
I'm
Street.
concerned,
Patrick
they're
Burns
just as
said
guilty.
David Rocker sold his shares in the Street. He said a month later, Cramer sold some of his shares in the Street. And he asked a question, which I found interesting. Why would a hedge fund have an interest in owning a financial publication? Cramer discloses in his books stuff that is wildly illegal, Patrick Burns said. Now, protection for journalists is about protecting sources, about stories they are writing, not about their own possible market manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
The question is whether freedom of the press extends to reporters whose articles are part of illegal naked short selling scams. Figes wanted to know, but he was summoned to Washington to meet with the new SEC chair, Chris Cox. Ultimately, Burns said the SEC caved under the media pressure. Cox killed the subpoenas, and the SEC dropped its investigation of Gradient. Cox, by the way, was also the SEC chair when Gary Aguirre was fired. After this long history of regulatory capture by Wall Street, what should the SEC do now to reclaim its reputation, if it can? Solutions are there if it wants to protect investors and stop taking orders from the big broker-dealers and the hedge funds. But it's mostly the big broker-dealers. They run the show.
Yep.
One, require buy-ins. Require the broker of the
With
investor
money comes great
who
power.
doesn't get shorted stock delivered to buy it on the market and charge the seller's broker. Of course, require buy-ins. But that would make the stock go up. The shorters would lose money. Not really on the agenda. Restore the uptick rule so shorters cannot sell for less than the last shorted trade. That would stop shorters from hammering a stock down to bankruptcy. Create a consolidated audit trail, CAT, to collect order and trade execution information to identify and enable punishment of illegal trading activities, including naked short selling. More than a decade after the SEC promised to create a CAT following the 2010 flash crash, CAT does not exist. Impose real penalties on serial transgressors, like loss of license, ban from trading. At the top, not the lower level guys. Send cases of egregious trading cheats to the Justice Department for criminal action, prosecution. And of course, end the revolving door with Wall Street. What will Gary Gensler do? And will he listen most to the big brokers or to investors, including the people on Superstonk? That's the question for all of us to answer, but it is so important for the people out there to understand this long history of SEC corruption.
Absolutely, and that was a great story. Thank you for that, for sharing that with us, Lucy. And that's a great segue into the questions from the community.
I feel like Pink Cats on Acid looks exactly how I imagined her to look.
Getting louder and louder, so I think that you can provide a lot of guidance for us on what we can do in an official capacity to start ringing our bells and get that attention to get this. You mentioned this started in 1932. And here we are in 2021. So for almost 100 years, this has been a cancer within our financial system that has been completely not only ignored, but protected by a lot of really big entities. And I think we're all starting to open our eyes to that. So thank you for some of that history. And that takes us into some of our community questions. So I wanted to start with, in your last AMA, you mentioned that naked short selling scam started a long time ago, like we were just saying, but it ends with GameStop in your book. So can you expand and clarify a little bit further what you meant by that?
Well, I meant that my book would end with GameStop because it is it's an iconic event. But of course, it's all still going on. That naked short selling, the corruption has not stopped. But the book I'm writing will start.
But you just ruined it.
I started with the crash, and we'll take it up to GameStop. Whether this ends is really up to the public. The public got really angry at the crash, the depression, and that's what started the legislation.
I'm gonna have to try and
the public has to get very
just take it off and give it to me.
For members of Congress to do anything now.
I'll try and get it off. Make sure you don't get it on your head, though.
The more that we learn, and the more
come over here. Let me help you.
Experts come on and speak and teach us. I think that we're all collectively getting more angry at how the system's been allowed to continue for so long. And so even if it doesn't end with GameStop, naked short selling doesn't end with GameStop in your book. It's a big climax, I think, and it is a good story. So we'll go to the next question. This user was asking if it was possible for the Hedges and the government to pull any kind of trickery to make this needs not happen. Are any rules that they're unwilling or unable to break?
Yeah, they're willing to break all the rules. Look at the history.
Yep.
They will figure out a way to finesse any.
That's why I said we got to stay 4 moves ahead of them.
Legislation. But
right now they got
some very smart people.
They're 3 moves ahead of us
to make that not happen. Because we've seen what's gone on for nearly 100 years. They will find any way they can. Look, these are really criminals. They're doing things that are illegal. If you do something illegal, it makes you a criminal. But they've gotten away with it.
What's great about this, though, is we have a lot of eyes on this.
By Congress, and that's been the problem.
It's going to be really difficult.
Especially, it sounds like since the 90s, it really kicked into.
I mean, if you just look at people protesting and stuff, obviously that's the only way to make changes, to be loud about it. So the more loud people get, the better this will all get for us.
So we have this user who
essentially
was asking in a really busy world where a lot of us don't have time to find a good trustworthy source of information. How do you recommend, where do you recommend people find a digestible news source for those that don't have time to watch full hearings or read full bills?
Well, there are some places I go to that aggregate. There's one called Naked Capitalism that focuses a lot on economics. And so I look at that, and they link to other things. But you have to just spend a lot of time looking for the online places. For the most part, I would forget about the mainstream media and certainly the mainstream broadcasters, because they will never tell you anything. And they're owned by some of the people that are the miscreants. So, but you just have to go and find places that are going to tell you, and that's one of them that I have used. But there are others too.
Excellent. And like you mentioned earlier, we have legislation that's essentially protecting the media whenever they tell these little stories, like we've seen with Market Watch during the GME saga. We've seen some funny things happen with timing when things were posted and things like that. So, but it sounds like that they're protected by the legislation in place. So, looks like we may have lost Lucy. Are we still you still there, Lucy?
Oh no.
We may have some more technical difficulties. Bear with us.
Oh no, they both dropped off now. Well. All right. Well, please stand by. So what do y'all think so far? Seems like somebody's audio is still on. I can still hear somebody's audio on there. I'll be back in 1 second. So don't leave. It's the Hedgies. Probably. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
All right, guys, looks like Lucy has got some more technical difficulties, but if you are still with us, she went over a lot in the Reg Show. 2004, sounds like Reg Show is something that never really took off. And
Sorry, guys.
One of the questions that we were going to be asking had to do with the hearings that Congress is interviewing megabank executives this week. Okay, so there's two different hearings. I believe one is on May 26th and one on May 27th. So they'll be bringing these megabank executives.
The whole world definitely needs to see this. If you guys haven't seen any of the other interviews, there's a lot of fantastic interviews. Starting with Susan Trimbath's interview. So if you guys haven't seen it, maybe we'll go over it at some point, because they all need to be seen.
Earlier, back in March, the one in February where Keith Gill testified, they are all just political theater, and they're not really getting to the bottom of it. Lucy had shared her opinion before that naked short selling was hardly even mentioned during the congressional hearings.
It wasn't. I think there was one question. And then they got shut out.
Discuss it. So she has she's of a very strong opinion that all of this is just political theater, and that so far we've not been able to push to real change and real legislative change. Hopefully we can change that. I know that she previously expressed some gratitude and a lot of, she was very impressed with what we've been able to do at Superstonk and the verified information that we get, that we compile and that we provide to the community free of charge. There's no paywall. There's no membership. You don't even have to join Superstonk to be able to access this information. She commended us for that and said that in the absence of mainstream journalism, that we were doing an excellent job at getting this message out. And so at the time that she said that, we were at about 275,000 members. I think last I checked, we were at maybe 315,000, I believe. So word is getting out. And I even saw where Gamestop liked a tweet about this AMA today. So hello, Gamestop. Hello, Chairman Owen. So let's go on to this next question that I didn't really get to talk to Lucy in a lot of detail about this, but I think it sounds like she's kind of given us some grounds to start digging on what we can do and how we can go deeper into.
It's really sad that Lucy's not here.
Actually, go from us just talking about it and storytelling, where for the last 100 years they've been trying to push through this legislation. How do we actually get this to happen? How do we make effect change happen? We're all very angry. We're in disbelief as we read more and more DD, like the House of Cards that out of it is going to be coming out for 2 and 3. You guys are going to be really angry whenever you read that. You'll realize that it's all a big criminal automated system that is quite well protected.
Very well protected.
But as we read all of these DDs, we're getting more and more upset, and we're all of a vigilant mindset that we want to do something. We want to be proactive about this. We want to make sure that this doesn't continue for our children's and grandchildren's generations. What can we do to change that? So, first of all, what you're doing right now by watching this video, subscribing to Superstonk, like the video so that it gets more exposure, sharing things on Reddit, uploading good content, real content, doing your own due diligence just on posts that you read. Shills and FUD are becoming a lot more refined, and they're learning and they're adapting. And I've seen some really excellent DD come out of some shills that looked very convincing, that gets reported because of apes like you and your vigilance to get to the bottom of information. And if something is unverified, you guys have been really great about making sure the mods know that. So to me, procuring and curating an environment on Superstonk that has an air of verification and is a trusted source, that's huge, because we can provide that to the community. So being able to present Superstonk as a whole to a new investor, or even to legislators, to someone who's interested in learning more on how to legislatively get this thing going, maybe not even invested in GME, by uploading good content, creating good content, and just being subjective in the content that you do promote, you're creating an environment that is changing the world. And I like to repeat Stonk YouTube's analogy, where he says that this is he likens this up to the city of Athens, because it's a great think tank, and it needs to be protected at all costs. And so by doing that, you guys are being awesome. So Lucy is still having technical difficulties, and we have gone through the questions. And so we're going to give her a few more minutes to try to get set up. She did have a lot of trouble getting her regular computer set up. So thank you guys for being so patient and so forgiving of our wonderful guest. Back on what else we can do. I don't know if everyone is aware, but when I've submitted some things to the SEC whistleblower website, you are able to do that as well. As an investor, you are able to submit a complaint to the SEC, not necessarily as a whistleblower. You don't have to have insider information in order to submit a complaint. So
I have written all of my representatives and the SEC as well. So
and I would particularly be reaching out to the SEC.
I definitely recommend everybody do it. If they get enough people, eventually they have to act on it.
Overvoting. So because of the overvoting issue,
oh no. Now they're both gone. Oh, well. So, what do you guys think? Did you guys ever look at all the other Superstonk interviews? Away from keys with headphones. Smoke. Huh? Maybe.
Okay, guys, so it looks like this may not be able to rejoin us. I think we're going to go ahead and close out the live stream for now. We appreciate you coming, and I want you guys to stay strong, continue to hodl, and remember to vote your shares. There's information on Superstonk website about how to vote your shares, and Carl Hagberg had a lot to say about how Euro apes and anyone else who's struggling to vote your shares, how you can handle that. The biggest thing is to make noise. The message of the day today is to continue to make noise. So we'll make noise at the SEC. We will make noise at our brokers that will allow us to vote. We'll continue to make noise and get people in on the cause and understanding that this has become larger than just GameStop itself as a retailer, although we do believe in the business model that Ryan Cohen brings, and we like the stock. Naked short selling is something that has been around for longer than most of our lifetimes, longer than our grandparents were alive. So we're very vigilant.
You are away from keys with headphones.
We are committed to bringing this to an end. So
I moved my computer to the side.
We appreciate you guys being so patient with all of the technical difficulties, but we still got it out there, and that's what's important. So thank you guys, Superstonk. You're always awesome, and as always, you guys be excellent to each other. Take care.
Well, hopefully, they will. I guess hopefully they'll bring her back at some point to ask those questions, because I think they were really important questions. So we'll see if she does a follow-up on that. But anyway, if you haven't joined the sub, definitely join r/Superstonk. I am a big part of r/Superstonk. I absolutely love it there. I know that a lot of you guys are only AMC apes, but if you take the information, at least like the general information, you can absolutely apply it to both stocks. So does anyone have any like feedback or anything? Because I found this pretty interesting. I just think that it's funny how literally basically since the beginning of time, like as we all know, the whole market's manipulated, but it's just interesting to see how all the, I don't know, like I just think, first of all, the fact that someone that used to work for the SEC, which is like, the people that put in like regulations and stuff, after they leave the SEC, they're free to get a job at any big bank or any hedge fund or anything, which is funny to me because the SEC is literally the person that puts in, like guidelines and stuff for the big banks and for hedge funds and stuff. So like, it's like, how can you, like, for me, I feel like that's a conflict of interest, and it definitely should be. So number one, I would definitely stop that. Two, there's obviously a big problem where Citadel is our market maker. They have entirely way too much power. I don't think that any one person or entity or anything should ever have that much power. And I think that's kind of the problem. I think that's a big reason why people like crypto is the decentralization on how it's not run by, what I'm saying, just one person. It's run by many people. And like, it's not run by one like entity or whatever, like not one person controlling it. So I feel like if we did that to our market, then it would be a lot better, more transparent and less likely to be manipulated. So that's why I feel like if I were in charge, okay, and this whole entire market crumbles, what I would do is I would take our market and our current system and throw it in the trash. I would completely build it back, because here's the problem. They keep building, not even just in finance, pretty much in every area and aspect of life. They keep taking broken systems, okay, and instead of breaking them completely down and starting over, they just keep building a broken system on top of a broken system to where like the foundation's already broken. You know what I mean? And so at that point, it's just crumbling, and eventually, enough pieces fall out that the whole thing crumbles down. Okay, so when this all crumbles down, what they need to do is, what I would do, okay, if I was in charge, is I would take our entire system and integrate it into the blockchain, because one, that would make, first of all, everything more transparent. There'd be a record of each, stock certificate and everything, because they'd each have like their own little block and ID number and stuff. So there is no way that someone would be able to locate a share without borrowing it. It would just make everything more transparent. Everyone would be able to see what's going on. There would be like very little room for manipulation and no room for naked short selling. And I feel like the fact that we allow our market to continue to be manipulated is a problem. And I feel like the biggest problem is that too many people aren't aware of it. I feel like we have all lived, well, I haven't, but I mean, a lot of people like my mom and, dad's age and stuff, like even older than that too, like they all lived in a world where, you don't question anything. You just do what you're told. And my generation, I'm more of I question everything. kind of generation. And so there is no blind following, like there's no blind faith here. Like I literally question everything. You tell me the sky is blue, I'm going to go outside and make sure that shit's blue. Okay. Because I don't trust anything anybody says. I have lived a very different life to where I realize that basically everything is manipulated and everyone's out for themselves. So I'm going to double check everything. And I don't ever follow anything by blind faith. So I feel like once more and more people start opening their eyes and start questioning things instead of just having a blind faith in our government, I feel like that's when things are going to get a lot better. So, I mean, the reason why everyone's saying make noise is because, in case you haven't realized, especially in 2020, nothing gets done unless enough people make enough noise. I mean, when it comes to like, like the race war and stuff, it took a bunch of protests and a bunch of people making noise to make any kind of real impact or anything to make things change. So I feel like the same thing goes here. Maybe if we start like protesting, outside the SEC or outside Citadel, I don't know, wherever, you know what I'm saying? Somewhere to make our voice heard. Otherwise, nothing's ever going to change. Freaking protests outside the White House. I don't know. Something though. We just need to get loud and get more people to understand what's actually happening so that the more people that we expose to this and that understand, what's happening and what's versus like what's supposed to happen and realize how they're being manipulated, then maybe we'll be able to solve the issues. So, yeah, I think integrating the entire market onto the blockchain would just be genius. And I really hope that somebody a lot smarter than me can figure that out. Lewis said 1394, baby. Is it? Oh, hold on, let me check. The one thing that I hate about Fidelity is it does not show you like aftermarket things, and that's what I use Webull for. I also have shares of GameStop and AMC and Webull as well, with a couple other things too, but I was like super down on my GameStop and Webull, and I'm still down, but I'm not down that much anymore. I was like really far down. So that's just telling how high my average was over there. Pretty high. So that turned into a long-term hold real quick. Anyway, let's see. Can you guys see me? Sorry, I gotta like 179.91 on GameStop, 1386 on AMC. Don't forget the German market's also not open too. I don't know if that affects after hours though. I know it does affect pre-market. I don't know how, but I know it does. I don't know how though. Does anyone know how like the other markets affect? Is it like through futures? Here it was on there that you were looking for. This is what you were trying to find. I knew it was on Webull. For some reason it didn't come up on my. Here's the order flow. Can you see this? Is he still in here? Paul, are you still here? This is what Paul was looking for. I couldn't find it on my computer, and that's because I always look on my phone. This is what he was looking for. I don't know if he's still in here. Lewis said, hold on. He said, I look good on that big screen. Virtual hug. I love myself too much. You're funny. 1388 on GameStop, or I mean on AMC after hours. I think this week we're definitely, I hope we're going to be above 14. I hope it's way above 14, but my only goal right now is 14 baby steps, because we all know that there's that big ass wall at $14. So if we could break down that wall, that would be fantastic. GameStop is at 180.27 after hours. Not mad at either of these stocks right now. They're both doing fantastic. Here's the order flow distribution for GameStop. Oop. Can y'all see that? $180.01. Yeah, that's what it. Isn't that what it ended on too? It's at 180.12 now. It's just bouncing around a little bit. Funny on my Webull account. I'll tell y'all my average on my Webull account because it's pretty high up there. But my average on my Webull account is I think it's 186. Hold on, let me go make sure. It's pretty high, and that's not even counting any kind of, what are they called, like wash sales. So it's probably even really actually more than that. Probably in the 200s range. On Webull, yeah, it's, hold on, let me make sure. How do I find my positions? I don't like the way they updated this app, mainly because it's too new and I don't understand how to work it now. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, my average on Webull is 186.82, which is horrible, but I'm all right with it. The long-term goal still is the same to me. Trek said that was closed. Sorry. Oh, it's okay. I do that too. It's the way that they do it. It's better than what I don't like about Fidelity too. There's only honestly two things that I don't like about it. I don't like that I can't trade in the pre-market at like 4:30 in the morning. That bothers me. I like having access to it at, like, anytime anyone else does. I don't think that's fair. And then two, the other thing that I don't like is like the charts. Like as soon as it hits 4 o'clock, they basically stop. They do not update. Literally, your whole account, nothing updates until the next day, and I don't like that. I hate that. I hate it. Lewis said, I just ate a big plate of nice and chicken fajita strips with garbanzo beans and tostinos. I don't know what that is. What's tostinos? But chicken fajitas are fire. I like garbanzo beans. My average on GME is 181.10. It's pretty good average. It's better than mine on Webull. My other average is still not that high on my Fidelity account. I mean, it's still not that low. On my Fidelity account, it's like 160 something now. Only because I was I was averaging up for a really long time. And then whenever, all right, so when GME went to 170 or whatever, like a month ago or whatever, or maybe like a couple weeks ago, I don't know, time seems to fly around here. I bought a shit ton and like dumped like a couple thousand in it, and that raised my average up by a lot. So, but I'm still not mad about it. I don't care. I like my average. I'm good with it. You know why? Because the long term is still the same. I made a commitment to be in this long term, and I am now in it long term no matter what. So if it goes to zero, that sucks. I'm going to lose all that money, but I'm still going to be holding to prove a point. I'm not letting go. I'm serious. I know everyone thinks I'm nuts, and I'm dead ass serious. I'm not selling it for anything until everybody is in jail and gets exactly what they're supposed to. I will not sell. If anything, I will just use it as a tax write-off in the future. But I don't want to lose it all. I don't want to make it seem like I got a bunch of money and I'm cool with losing it all. I don't want to. But if I do, then I know that it's because the market is manipulated, and eventually, hopefully, they will get caught. And I'm definitely a loud ass person. I do not shut up. And especially when I set my mind to something, it's going to get done. So I'm in the process of like being in school and stuff to, like, I'm going back to school specifically just so I can fucking fix this shit, because not even just this, but like a lot of things. There's like a lot of different things in our system that's broken. And not just the US system. I'm talking globally. And that's why I like to learn about, different cultures and stuff, because I want to help everyone. I think a lot of people think like, at least in the US, a lot of people think like, oh, we need to help our people first. And to me, everybody's my people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand that. Like, we're all humans, so I don't understand why there's a divide. I hope one day that my children will live in a world where there is no divide based on anything like that. You don't lose until you're sell. That's a fact, and that's how I know I will never lose. I will never lose. Dude, you know what it is I watched the stock go from like $300, $400 all the way to $40, and then like 2 days later go back up to $250, and I sold like a dumb ass bitch, and I deserved it. So after that, I learned my lesson, and I never sold again. And I'm glad I didn't, because there's been mad times it's been up and down. But if I would have sold, I would have lost thousands of dollars. Whereas if I'm just patient, everything comes back up. Lewis said, those corrupt bastards, using my Italian Cuban voice. It's funny. Real shit, though. Real shit, though. Y'all definitely gotta, if y'all haven't watched all the Superstonk interviews, I definitely recommend it. But tomorrow we're gonna watch tonight I'm actually gonna watch the Trex's movie that he said to watch. But tomorrow we're all gonna watch it together if y'all are down. It's called The Inside Job. And from what I gather, like, I read a little premise on it, and then also what he's been saying, it seems to all line up perfectly to basically everything we're doing. So even if, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all this information, the reason why I say it applies to both is because it applies to not even just both, but any stock that's been manipulated. You know what I mean? So even if you're not invested in GME or AMC, it applies to the market. And I feel like that's like important information that you need to know, regardless of whether you're an investor in either of these stocks or not. You should still be very angry. I would be very angry knowing that literally, they've, especially like people with 401ks or, which is basically everybody, I'd be very angry. And I think that it's time that everybody understands what's going on. If only I could jump through the screen. But yeah, I look absolutely horrible. I don't know what's happening with YouTube, but I also look horrible right now because I didn't do my hair or anything, and I just look a mess. I didn't do makeup. I don't care. I thought I was going to care, but I don't. I really don't. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with this. Lewis threw me off. My ADHD suddenly kicked in. Shit. I feel bad for the older generation. Yeah. I think it comes down to, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and I've realized this. What's so funny is nobody like in my real world supports me at all in this. They think that I'm absolutely nuts to think that I can change the world, not just in GameStop, but in anything in general. I've always been like this. I have always been the rescuer, the person always trying to save somebody, which is one of my most annoying personality traits, in my opinion. Everyone else loves it about me. I absolutely hate it. I get completely drained from constantly trying to change the world and educate people for the better. But I really feel like it's worth it. I really do. Even though everyone else thinks it's not, I think it is. And regardless, I'm not going to allow anyone to change that about me. I like the messy look. Thanks. Inside Job. Yes, we are definitely, guys, tune in tomorrow because we're going to watch the Inside Job all together. I don't know what time. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to be on in the morning because I watch the market every morning. I try not to live stream when other people are live streaming, but lately it seems like everybody else live streams all day long, and they have no lives, so I really can't, I guess, pick and choose to be around that. It is what it is, but I do want to watch that with you guys. I was reading about it, and I think it's going to be great, and I think it's going to apply to everything. So definitely come by tomorrow. I don't know. What time do you guys want to watch it? Do you want to wait and see like what the morning does, like in the market, and then decide like if it's a good time, or do you want to wait until like after the market closes? It's up to y'all. I really don't care. I'm probably not gonna like obviously live stream all day. Watch it tonight. I'm definitely watching it tonight. Do you guys want to watch it on stream tonight? I'm watching it tonight for sure because I'm gonna pre-watch it before I show it on the stream too. I'm a hedge fund, haha. Come rescue me. Cover your position. How about that? If you're short in my stock. So dude, I love Twitter because it's so funny. Back up, babe. You can't say hi. I don't want you on YouTube, babe. Because they know I have a daughter, baby. I just don't want to show who you are because you're 5. No. Hold on, guys.
I want to say hi.
Oh, this child really wants to say hi to y'all. Anyway. Yes, I do. I'm going to bed soon, middle of the night here, but I can watch with you all tomorrow. Okay, yeah, sounds good. So we will watch it tomorrow together. I'm going to watch it tonight because I want to watch it ahead of time just to make sure. I don't know why. I just want to watch it because ever since you told me about it, I wanted to watch it. But anyway, I'm going to watch it tonight, and then we can all watch it tomorrow together. I'll probably be here around like morning time, like 9:30ish. And then we'll start to watch the market, and then if it starts getting boring, then we'll just watch that. Yeah, I'm definitely bringing blankets. Yes, watch it tonight, you. Yes, I am. I'm definitely going to watch it tonight. And then tomorrow we can all watch it together because I have a feeling that everybody's going to need to see this. So yeah, and if anybody has anything else, any other suggestions on things that we should watch or anything that I should look into, I totally will. Like I said, this is a community. I'm trying to foster a channel where it's not just one person, you know what I'm saying, talking at you, because I don't know everything. Okay, I will be the first person to tell you I don't know everything. I literally look up shit all day. Like, I am a researcher. Like, if I don't know shit, I'm gonna figure it the fuck out. Okay, you can ask pretty much anybody in my life. They know, like, I'm always the person they come to because I always figure it the fuck out. Okay, I am a researcher, and I feel like everything can be learned if you just look for the information. So anyway, this is a community. Like, this channel is going to be a community where I foster everybody. Like, I want everybody's input, knowledge, and everything, and we can all basically work together to learn new things. Because it's really dumb to have an echo chamber. Like, nobody wants that. That's not how you learn at all. That's just someone yelling at you, telling you how great they are, and blah, blah, blah. That's stupid. So anyway, we're going to watch that tomorrow. But if anybody has any other suggestions or anything, definitely comment and let me know, and we will definitely come back for that. So make sure y'all like the video, like the stream or whatever. Subscribe if you haven't already, and also turn the notification bell on so you know the next time I go live. And also, when I end this, if you think of anything, just comment or whatever, and I'll see it because I'm really good at seeing the comments and stuff. So just let me know what you guys want to see, or if there's anything you want me to look into or anything like that. And thank all of y'all so much for sticking by with me. I know that it has been so crazy over here and kind of cringe. Lewis said I'm trying to behave. You don't have to behave. It's okay. Just be kind of okay. Just be kind of good. It's so weird. I don't know how your messages automatically get highlighted, but no one else's does. That's weird. But anyway, so yeah, like the stream, comment if you have anything that you want me to look over or anything. And then also, thank you guys so much for coming and continuing to support me. I really appreciate it, because I know this has been really weird and completely different from any other YouTuber, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and I don't really want to be honest. I think it's just kind of fun. We're all just chilling and, you know, and stuff. Lewis said, we are little chickens, Ashley Mama Hen. Ha, yes.
I can stand straight now.
Trek said, Lewis, behave. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Okay, hold on one second. I'm out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow, probably 9:30 in the morning, maybe a little earlier, but probably around 9:30ish. And I will make sure I have this up and running so that we can all like see the tickers and stuff, because it's really shitty when you're just staring at my face, because chances are tomorrow I'm not doing makeup either. I'm not joking when I say, like, I'm not getting my hair done on purpose, because I'm literally taking every dollar I have and putting it into GameStop and AMC. If it's not going towards my kid, literally every other dollar is going into AMC or GameStop. And I'm not joking. So anyway, we're going to see how long it takes for my hair to go back to its actual color. So hopefully not long. Hopefully this shit starts squeezing soon so I can get my hair done. But anyway, thanks for coming, guys, and I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks, Lewis. Thanks, Trex. Thanks, Rec. Y'all are awesome. All right, see y'all later.